Ready to shatter the belief that your spiritual gifts can't be your income and you can be well paid? Thank you so much for being here. Hey, beautiful human, it is me, Rebecca Wiener McGregor, the Anxiety Eraser. Welcome to another episode of Effective Immediately, the show where we talk mindset, leadership, abundance, healthy emotions, and I give you a shift that you can make effective immediately. Okay, so here we are. Are you ready to turn your passion into profit? And yes, I chose those words intentionally. You may even have a reaction to the words, passion to profit. It is well understood that people who have spiritual gifts, who want to share them with the world, are often scared of two very important things. They are scared of people thinking badly about them or thinking badly about themselves for wanting to be paid for their spiritual gifts. And the other, most common, is being seen as someone who has spiritual gifts and wanting to share them. This is a very, very common thing that happens when someone has a very powerful gift to share. What do you think happens when someone has a very powerful gift to share and they have resistance to being paid for it, to being out there in the world with this gift? It gets pushed down. It gets pushed aside. Maybe they dabble a little bit, like we talked about last week. Maybe they just dabble a little bit in their gifts. Maybe they only use their gifts in private. Maybe they only a handful of trusted people know about these gifts. Maybe they only use them with their family and their friends behind the scenes because they're worried about being rejected. And I'm here to share with you that it is possible for you to be very well paid. Yep, that may even bring up some stuff for you. Being very well paid, sharing your gifts. You ready to dive in? Okay, here we go. First of all, I want you to think about the power of the gift that you hold. I want you to think about how you identify this gift and how it feels to you to have this gift. I want you to think about what you can create with this gift. Just for a moment, be in the energy of this gift and sharing it with the world. What could you create? What kind of ripples could you create sharing your gift? It's big, isn't it? The gifts that you have can create a massive impact. And there's a part of you that almost backs up from the idea. If this is you, I want you to pay close attention. If you're backing up from your gifts, I understand what's happening here, and I want to help you release the resistance to your dream. Okay? The first thing that I want you to consider is shifting your identity from someone who dabbles with their spiritual gifts, who maybe is really committed to their spiritual gifts, but they're not letting them out in a big way. They haven't made a declaration to themselves or to others that they have things to offer. So I want you to begin to see yourself, have the identity of someone who is being well paid for their gifts. We're going to talk about the reaction to being well paid in just a moment. Okay, how's that feeling? Thinking about not having your spiritual gifts as a hobby anymore, but the thing that you get paid to do. You get paid to exist because you have these gifts to share. Now, this might be really scary because if you are already a leader, you already have a great career, a great job, you're bringing in wonderful income from this career, you may feel like this would be such a gamble to step away from that and into your spiritual gifts full time. And it might be a gamble. And I want you to trust that there are ways for you to do this where you don't have to stop everything one day and start everything the next day. You don't have to completely shut down what you're doing to begin what you want to be doing. But you'll have to declare to yourself, you'll have to claim for yourself that this is the path that you want to take. When you claim it for yourself, when you declare it for yourself, things will begin to move quickly for you, so you will need to be prepared. Now, the other thing that might be coming up here is, oh my gosh, I've got to get ready. I've got to get ready. And let me ask you, have you been ready for the most spectacular things in your life? Were you ready to receive the gift? Did you make space for it intentionally? Did you plan that on Tuesday at 3 p.m. was going to be the day that you suddenly were able to activate your gift, or suddenly feel your gift or notice your gift? Were you ready when you finally gave birth to your child and brought them home? Were you ready for all the change that you didn't know was coming? And it turned out okay, right? I won't go into any more examples, but I want you to think about the fact that you will not ever fully be ready, and you're going to have to accept that. If you want things to shift, if you want to have the dream, the vision, the identity of being a spiritual leader, of being a person who is sharing their gifts with the world and being well paid, you won't be ready. You won't be ready for the levels of fulfillment it brings you. You won't be ready for the amazing responses you get from your clients. You won't be ready for the waves of love that come to you. And you don't have to be ready. It doesn't have to be perfect. So if you are noticing that you have resistance because all the decks have to be cleared and all the stages have to be set and everything has to be just right and your book has to be finished and your website has to be done and you have to tell certain people and all the things, that you have to have all these pieces ready for you to share your gifts in a bigger way, to play a little bit of a bigger game, to be out in public and be visible with your gifts, you will never quite be ready for the gifts that your gifts give you back. So allow yourself to begin to act without being ready. Like, you know how it is when suddenly you have a guest from out of town and you didn't know, you make the best of it, right? Imagine this being that kind of thing where you just make the best of it. You do your best, but you do not wait for things and circumstances and conditions to be just perfect. Okay, how's your identity settling in? There may be all sorts of resistance coming up, a little bit of maybe some heart palpitations, some anxiety, some beliefs saying you can't have it the way you want it. All of that is your resistance. All of that comes from your conscious and subconscious blocks, the things you know are blocking you and the things that you're not sure are blocking you. And that is my specialty. I help transformational leaders release subconscious blocks and resistance to their dreams so they can live the life of freedom and fulfillment, sharing their gifts without anxiety or exhaustion. And I want you to reach out to me if you're ready to take this step, to have someone supporting you, releasing those blocks. You can connect with me at RebeccaWiener.com or call with Rebecca.com to schedule a call with me, okay? All right, so focusing on your resistance now, paying attention to what's coming up for you. There may be simple resistance, obvious resistance, like Spirit gave me these gifts. God gave me these gifts. The universe bestowed these gifts upon me. How could I ever charge for them? This is a very common one. People need my help. If I charge for people, if I charge for helping people, then the people who need my help won't receive it. Or if I charge more for my time, if I charge more for my gifts than I have been, then I'll be seen as greedy. The truth is, if you want to move the masses, if you want to use your gifts to make great change in this world, first of all, the person working with you needs to be invested in the process. They will value the work more. They will show up more to you. They will be ready. They will release their own resistance to the process the more heavily they are invested in the process. Think about times when you had an opportunity to show up for a paid experience and how much you valued that time and how you took notes and you paid close attention and you used the connections that you made at that event much more. You really took care of that experience because you paid well for it. And then think about the time that you were invited to the free thing and you showed up late and you didn't value it as much. You didn't respect your time as much because the experience was free. Now imagine how that would translate into sharing your gifts. When people are invested in the process, they value the experience. Their resistance is going to be less so that you can actually do your work and help them. Now that's one tiny aspect of why it is important for you to be well paid for sharing your gifts. The other is that you need to go places. You need to travel. You need to be able to hire a team to support you. You need to have resources available to you to do the things that you need to do so that you are well supported doing the work that you need to do. Transformational leaders need a big income to support their big mission. Travel doesn't happen for free. Renting venues doesn't happen for free. Paying for support at those experiences or food for your guests, all of that, those are just the obvious expenses. It is okay for you, and in fact, it is important for you to be well paid. Now, all this might bring up some stuff, right? Oh, I want to do this on a tight budget and I don't want to give up my big income that I have right now. There may be some similar things like, who am I to charge for my gifts? What kind of person will I be if people find out that I am being well paid for my gifts? What will people think about me? This is a huge piece of resistance because we do not want to be rejected for our gifts. We don't want to be rejected for who we are. We don't want to be rejected from our family, from our community, because that is rooted in our fear of being rejected from our herd. Because being rejected and being on our own, back in our hunter-gatherer days, would mean certain death. That's the reality of what we're dealing with. Being rejected is very painful. Being marginalized, being separated from the people that we love and care for and protect us because we're a group is a big deal. This isn't new. So as you're gathering all this information right now, paying attention to the resistance that's coming up, I want you to know that you are not doing anything wrong having resistance. This is the way that we are built. You can work through the resistance. You can release the resistance. You can fight the resistance. You can let the resistance take over and keep you from doing your spiritual work in this world, moving the masses and transforming lives. It's your choice. And I want you to be very well aware that all of this that we're talking about, we're collecting data. All the times that I bring up resistance, all the times that I bring up ways that you might be holding off or fighting yourself, it's also you can be in an awareness and collect the data. There's no space here for me to judge you and no space here that is necessary for you to judge yourself. Okay, so noticing this resistance, paying attention to what's happening in your body, I want you to pay attention and notice what's happening in your body so that when you feel it, you recognize it. Okay, I'm having resistance to moving forward. Now, the resistance is rooted in beliefs. Beliefs that come from our family, our culture, our community, our religious family, our spiritual family. They come from our government. They come from the media. You may have beliefs that you didn't even recognize until you started looking at your resistance. And once again, when I say your resistance, I want you to know everyone has it. I've been doing my work for 20 years, almost 20 years, and I'm still uncovering little bits of resistance. Sometimes they make a really big impact in my life, and I'm still working through layers of resistance. So this is the path of growth, right? This is not anything to be ashamed of. This is not anything to be angry at yourself about. And this is nothing that you want to try to hide. Get help. Uncovering the blind spots. Uncovering your resistance. Uncovering the belief systems that support that resistance. Okay. Coming back to what might the beliefs be that are holding you back. Someone like me can't do this kind of work. I'm not good enough. I'm not powerful enough. My gifts are small. My gifts, I just have this thing. I wouldn't even really call it a gift. Even that, downplaying, covering up, is a layer of holding back and resisting the gift. No one in my family has ever done anything like this, so I can't do it. I've never had an example. That is a very common belief. I can't do this because no one's going to show me the way. I don't have anyone in my life to show me the way. There are people like me who will help you release the resistance, will help you step into your values and your standards so that you can create a successful, fulfilling life, sharing your gifts. I can't deal with what my family will say to me when they realize that I am sharing these gifts. I've always kind of been the black sheep of my family, but now I want to do this. They're going to think I'm crazy. Another belief that is tied to rejection and abandonment. Start to pay attention to your beliefs. And as you are looking at what the beliefs might be, that, I can't charge for my spiritual gift because God gave me this special gift and it would seem weird to charge for it. I think it's bad for me to try to make money from this gift of helping people. Think about all the helping professions, all of the people who are being supported by helping professions right now. All the people who value that work so much, and they're paying for it. It's because you need so much to be a powerful leader. It's because you need support. It's because you need the infrastructure, potentially. It's because you need staff. It's because you need to keep the lights on in the office where the things happen. You need to pay for your own insurance. You need to pay for your transportation, whatever the case may be. Start to pay attention if you are freaking out a little bit, and I'm not putting you down in any way, but having that little freak out inside of, if I really up-leveled what I'm charging right now, and I started doing this on a regular basis, what kind of life could I create for myself? How fulfilled could I be? And some of that resistance is coming up, and you're having a little bit of a feeling inside of you like, could this really be the way that I live my life? Could this really be the way that I live my life and enjoy my life doing the work that I love? Instead of being exhausted by the job that I'm in right now, even though that job is paying me well, even though I'm supported well at that job, is it even safe for me to consider shifting into working on my gifts full time? I want you to know that you can have it the way that you want it. How you share your gifts, how you live your life, how you are well paid for all of it, how you are fulfilled, you can have it all. You will have to claim it over and over and over again. You will get to claim it over and over and over again. And some of the ways that you claim it are paying attention to the resistance, paying attention to the belief systems that you have, and knowing and trusting that you can shift. You can shift away from unbeneficial beliefs and resistance, and you can shift into beneficial beliefs. The belief that I can share my gifts this way, the belief that I can be well paid, the belief that I deserve it, the belief that I can be as successful as I want to be, the belief that I can have the vision. And you can begin to identify yourself as a leader, as a transformational leader, as someone who would call themselves whatever it is with the gifts that you have. You get to begin to identify yourself and be in this belief that you can have it the way you want. Now, as you are doing that and you are practicing your gift and you are sharing your gift, I want you to think about how it would feel to begin to be operating with the confidence of a transformational leader in your field with your gift. You start identifying yourself that way, whether it is simply with yourself first, it has to be with yourself first, and then your family, and then your community, and you let it grow. You allow yourself then to build the confidence that will help strengthen you, help bolster you, help support you in the moments when your beliefs might waver. When someone might say something to you. You will be tested. There will be people who think what you do is strange. There will be people who don't believe in your power, in your gifts, in your talents. But that's okay. Your gifts are not for the non-believers. Your gifts are for the believers. Your gifts are for the people who want them. You don't have to try to wake people up to appreciate your talents, to appreciate your gifts. You get to share it with the people who are already awake and want your gifts. There are plenty of them. When you start operating from the belief that you can do this, from the belief that you can have it the way you want it, when you start operating from the identity of a transformational leader, and you begin to connect with people and express yourself confidently and share your work, there will be a massive ripple coming. More people will learn about you. More people will be referred to you. And you will, being well paid, then begin to create systems for people to come to you, for people to find you. Whether it's advertising, social media marketing, whatever it is. You will create ways for people to find you. The people who are already looking for you. Okay. How is all this settling in? Give yourself some love. Give yourself some kindness. Recognize that this is your message for a reason. You are receiving this message for a reason. You have the opportunity to change your life into exactly how you want it. You get to break free from the thing that's been holding you back. You get to break free from the resistance, the old identities, the old beliefs, the old fears, the old anxieties, and allow yourself to become the transformational leader, the spiritual leader the healer, the creator, the powerful one who co-creates experiences with people. And it doesn't have to wait. You don't have to wait, and your gift doesn't have to wait. So now, as you are thinking about your gift, as you're thinking about who you could possibly help, the waves and waves of this ripple, the number of people who can be transformed by sharing your gift. Letting that settle in for you. This is your effective immediately mindset shift of the week, okay? Every time that you have some resistance come up, an old belief, something stopping you, something slowing you down, I want you to ask yourself, what is the belief tied to this feeling? What is the belief tied to this resistance? What is the identity tied to this resistance? And I want you to do it in a loving way. Your subconscious mind does not like to be forced. Your subconscious mind is only trying to protect you. That's why you have these blocks, right? We talk about this every single week. Your subconscious mind does not care about your happiness. It cares about keeping you alive. It does not care about your joy and your bliss. It cares about keeping you alive. It's your spirit that wants more. It's your spirit that wants joy and fulfillment and to share your gifts. So when this feeling comes up where you feel like you are being blocked, you're holding yourself back, you are stopping yourself from going forward, sharing something, moving forward with the tasks that you have set for yourself to become this leader that you desire, getting your name out there in a bigger way, showing up at an event and talking about your work, asking your friend if you could speak at her group, whatever it is. Put your hand on your heart. Connect with your body. Connect with your mind. Ask your spirit for help. What is showing up for me that's stopping me right now? And you can begin to hear the answers, feel the answers, explore the answers lovingly as data, and start to think about, is this a beneficial experience? Is this a beneficial belief that I have? Or is it not benefiting me the way that I want? And when you notice that it's an unbeneficial belief, start to think about what you could begin believing instead, and begin thinking about that belief more and more. It's a process, it's a practice, but it is one that you can use throughout your entire life. Noticing your beliefs, noticing the resistance, and starting to think about what else could be true. What could I believe instead, and practicing that. All right, remember, I am here for you to help you release the exhaustion, the anxiety, the worries, the resistance, so that you can have the dream. You can be well paid, live a very fulfilling life, sharing your gifts as a transformational leader without fighting yourself anymore, without white knuckling it, and without going it alone. You can find me at RebeccaWiener.com, or you can book a call with me at callwithrebecca.com. All right, take very, very good care of yourself. Be very, very loving. Share your gifts, and I'll see you next week. Bye for now.